I'm Katie Tucker, and this is my persuasive speech. Talking to a cop is one of the scariest things. I've personally been in a position where I have been confronted by cops and didn't know why I was getting in trouble. I was absolutely terrified. Little did I know that I was getting in trouble for being out past the West Branch curfew for people under the age of 18. People should care about this problem because most of the people my age are unaware of the city's curfew, and it can most likely affect them. I am personally credible because I have had to deal with this problem firsthand. West Branch's curfew for people under the age of 18 should be closely analyzed because most people do not know of this law, and certain sports activities may interfere with the curfew, and the different solutions that we can make to change this curfew. The problem with this curfew is that a lot of people are uninformed about it, and there are some cases where this law is unavoidable. When I questioned my classmates about this problem, none of them had any idea of what I was talking about. None of them knew that there was even a curfew for people under the age in West Branch. This proves my point that people are not informed of this law and they are at risk of getting in trouble with the cops because of their lack of information about this curfew. The state law of transportation states that the driving curfew for 16-year-olds is 12:30. How does that make any sense when the West Branch curfew is 12 o'clock? Another problem with this curfew is that there are certain sporting events where we do not get back until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. 4 out of 5 people I interviewed told me that they were in some sort of activity where they didn't return back in West Branch well after the midnight. This makes it almost impossible for people under the age of 18 to be in such activities. This stress adds from people in West Branch under the age of 18 and adds up to the problem. The problem is that the curfew is not very effective and does not have any important purpose for the town of West Branch. However, there are different solutions for this problem. A few solutions I think would be beneficial for people who this curfew affects is that I think there should be signs stating the curfew, and I think that the curfew should not apply to people under the age of 18 who are still in high school. From the responses I got in my questionnaire, a majority of people agree with me that they are unaware of this 12 o'clock curfew, and that if there were signs posted throughout West Branch, it would be a lot easier for them to be more aware of this curfew. It would be a lot easier if there were signs posted coming into West Branch and coming out of West Branch. People of Debate.org proved that 54% of people agree that there should not be a curfew for people under the age of 18. I think another way to avoid this problem is to apply the curfew to people under the age of 16. A lot of people agree with me that as soon as you're legal to drive, you should be able to stay out later than 12 o'clock. I think any of these solutions would help the people of West Branch under the age of 18. Here are some signs that could be posted throughout West Branch. These solutions solve the problem of the curfew in West Branch because they make it a lot easier for the people under the age of 18 to do their activities without worrying about getting in trouble with the cops. Benefits for this solution apply to the people under the age of 18 and to the cops who are in charge of enforcing this law in West Branch. Both parties will not have to stress about this unimportant law. The website City Mirror states that the curfew was originally put into place to make sure that young criminals are off the streets. I do not think that this would apply to West Branch. One example of how this solution would work is when cops see cars at the high school after midnight, they do not have to go patrolling the parking lot finding people who are under the age of 18. And the people who are at the high school for activities do not have to worry about getting in trouble with the cops. Another example would be if a cop sees someone under the age of 18 out past midnight in a car, they do not have to pull them over because you know that they are 16 years old and are able to drive. West Branch's curfew for people under the age of 18 should be closely analyzed because most people do not know of this law. Certain sports activities may interfere with this curfew, and there are different solutions that we can make to change this curfew. Wouldn't your life be a lot easier if you didn't have to worry about being home by midnight? I'm sure all of you can agree with me that this curfew serves no purpose to the town of West Branch, and these solutions, we can change the curfew. Everyone who is affected by this curfew voices their opinions. I'm sure that together we can change in West Branch and change this curfew.